Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Vab Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. In this video, I'll be sharing with us how to make this stylish A-line gown made by Gemma Wears. This is my own creation. This gown has a V neckline with bell sleeves, and the down part is pleated. It also has this nice lacing at the back that is giving it the snatched waistline. This is really simple to make and it is beginners friendly. I hope this is something you're interested in learning. You want to make sure to keep on watching till the end. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please click on the subscribe button to subscribe and ensure you put on your notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. And make sure to share this video, like this video, leave a comment. Thank you, and let's get right into the video. Okay, so I'll be making use of this Duchess fabric, and I have 3 yards of Duchess here. So the measurements needed for this project is the shoulder measurement, the bust measurement, the waist measurement, the hip, and then the full length of the gown. You also need the full length of the sleeve. So to get started, I'm going to fold my fabric and we're going to be drafting the front and back together. So to determine the amount of fabric to fold, I'll be using the biggest measurement, which is the hip measurement. And the hip measurement I'm working with is 44 inches. So 44 divided by 4, that will give me 11. I'll add 5 inches to that measurement, so that will be 16. This is because it's an A-line gown, so that the down part opens up. So I'll be folding 16 inches for the front piece. Then for the back piece, I'm going to fold 17 inches because I'll be needing my zip allowance of 1 inch. Okay, so as you can see, my fabric is on fold. But before I folded the fabric, I went ahead to cut out this long strip. This long strip is going to serve as the rope we're going to be using to lace the back. And this rope is 1.5 inches on a fold. So that's that about the rope. So here my fabric is on a fold. You can see the one on top is the front piece while the one underneath is the back piece. You can see that the back piece and the front piece didn't start at the same point. This is because of the zip allowance that I have at the back. We're going to be stitching our zipper to the center back. So here on the table, the length of the fabric I have is 59 inches. The full length of my client is 62 inches. 62 inches. So this fabric is less with 3 inches. This is because we're going to be having pleats at the down part. So here I have 59 inches. That's including my sewing allowance. So by the time we join the shoulder at the upper part and sew the down part, we'll be left with 58 inches. So the pleat I'll be attaching to this gown is going to be 4 inches. So I'll also add my hemming allowance to the fabric. So this is me just telling us that this is not the full length of the gown yet because we're going to have pleats at the down part. So right now I'm going ahead to draw the shoulder line, which is the starting line. Next, I'll mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. And please take note that I'm placing my tape exactly from the center front. That's away from the zip allowance. Here I marked the neck width of 3.5 inches, and now I'm marking the shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus half inch for joining the sleeve. And then I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. I'll connect it to the neck width here. So having done that, next I'm going to mark the armhole measurement, and I'm working with an armhole of 8 inches. So I'll place my tape from the shoulder slant and mark 8 inches. So at this 8 inches mark I have here, I'm going to reconfirm the shoulder measurement. This is so that I have a straight line. So this is where 9 inches is. So you can see I'll just connect it this way. Having done this, next I'll find the midpoint of the armhole by placing my tape this way. So I get the midpoint of the armhole line. At this midpoint, I'll go in by half of an inch. And this is for the back. We want to eliminate any form of gathering around the armhole. I'll connect it back to the shoulder tip. And then here on the chest line, I'll enter the bust measurement divided by 4. And then I'll use my armhole curve to connect it to this point. So this armhole I've drawn out already is the back armhole. So for the front, I'll go in by 3/4 of an inch. I'll connect it back to the shoulder tip. Please take note that I went in by 3/4 of an inch exactly at the middle point, also where the half inch, I went in by half inch. So now this is the front armhole. So next I'm going to enter the vertical lines. First is the waistline, next is the hip line, and then the full length of the gown. Okay, so having marked all the vertical lines, now go ahead and enter my horizontal measurement. The bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. I marked it on the chest line. Here is the waistline. The waist measurement divided by 4 plus same 2 inches. So these 2 inches I'm adding, 1 inch is going to be the actual sewing allowance and the remaining 1 inch will be for ease, okay? So I always add 2 inches. And I'm repeating the same thing on the hip line. Hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches also. Then at the hem here, remember I said I was going to make the A-line gown as wide as 16 inches down. So I just marked the 16 inches. So this is me going ahead to connect the points using my straight ruler. And then from the hip line, I'm just going to connect it to the hem to give us that A shape. So now that this is done, next, I'm going to mark the neck depth. So the neck width already is 3.5 inches. So for the back neck depth, it is 1.5 inches. So this is me marking my 1.5 inches. So for the back neckline, you can see it extends into the zip allowance. It extends onto the zip allowance. And then I'm going to use this part of my armhole curve to draw out the neckline. And then for the front neckline, I'm going to be using a neck depth of 6.5 inches. So I'll mark 6.5 inches at this point, and this is going to be a V neckline. Can you see that the neckline, as I was marking it, I marked it exactly in front. So now I'm going to draw out the V neckline. I'm using the part of my armhole curve that is not too sharp. This is so that the neckline just curves to give us that nice V, okay? So having done that, next we're going to take out the zipper bulge. So you can see that this is a free gown. You don't want the gown to bulge at the back. It needs to sit well. So I marked the waistline on the back piece here, on the zip allowance here. I went in by half of an inch, just half inch, and then I'll connect it to the neckline. And then I'll also connect it downwards, just 1 inch above the hip line. This is to eliminate any form of bulge at the back of your outfit, okay? So and see I've connected it. So I'm going to be cutting out that part. This is to avoid any gathering. So right now we're done drafting. I'll be cutting on the back piece first. Since the back is bigger than the front, I'll cut on the back neckline, cut on the back armhole first, and then I'll separate the front from the back before I go ahead and alter the front. I'll cut all the neckline and the armhole of the front, okay? I hope we understand that. Okay, so as you can see, I'm done cutting out the back and I also slash open the zip allowance. So for the front, I'm going to cut on the front neckline and also on the front armhole. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the down part of this gown. This is so that we can determine the fabric that we're going to pleat at the hem. Already, we know that the down part of our gown here is 16 inches. So when I open it up, that means I'm going to have 32 inches. Okay. So, and the same thing, it's also the same thing for the back. That's excluding the zip allowance of 1 inch. So I have 32 in front, 32 at the back. So that's 32 plus 32, that's 64. So I'm going to multiply this 64 by 3 or by 2.5 depending on the amount of fabric I have to work with. So you want to do the same thing. So it's either you multiply by 2 or by 3, sorry, by 2.5 or by 3. Okay? So in this case, I'm just going to be using the length of our leftover fabric. This is so that we don't have any shortage. So here you can see my fabric is on a fold, and I folded. The length of the pleats we're going to have is going to be 4 inches. So 4 inches, I need my hemming allowance of 1.5 inches. I'll be using half inch to join it to the upper part, and then I'll fold half inch on the, that's 1 inch on the down part. So that's plus 1.5. 1.5 plus 4.5, so that's 5.5. Okay, so here the fabric I have on a fold is 5.5 inches. So this is me just making sure to press it so that it's easy to cut out. Okay, so for this fabric I'm cutting out, the length I have here is 59 inches. So I'm going to cut 3 pieces. I'll be cutting in 3 places so that I can join the 3 of them together. Length 5.5. I'll join all 3 of them together so that I can have enough to pleat around the hem. So 59 times 3, that's going to give me 177. So that's about 2.5. Okay, that's about multiplying the hem of the gown by 2.5 so that it's enough to pleat it. If I had multiplied by 3, that would be 190, I think 196, but my fabric is not enough. So now it's time for us to cut the sleeve. So here I folded my leftover fabric. This sleeve can be wider than this. So, but this depends on the amount of fabric you're working with. For me, you can see I'm working with exactly 3 yards. In fact, it's not even up to 3 yards. It's just a little less than the 3 yards, but I'm working with 3 yards. That's it. So to drop the sleeve, first I measured the armhole of the gown. This is so that you make sure that the sleeve fits into the armhole. So I haven't measured the armhole. I'm drawing the starting line for the sleeve, and then I came down to mark the cap's height. So I'm just going to create this curved shape we have on top of our sleeve, which is that inverted S shape. Okay, can you see? This is me just using my free hand. Just look at it. It's that easy. So, and I confirmed it to be sure that I have up to the 11 inches I got on the armhole, 11.5 rather. So I'll go ahead and connect it this way. So the point where I have the 11.5, you can see how I just slanted it all the way down. So like I said, the sleeve can be wider than this at the hem. So this is the fabric I have to work with. So I'm just using what I have. So I'll go ahead and cut out the sleeve and then place the sleeve on the other side of the fabric and cut the second one out. And then I'll also proceed to cutting the front and the back facing. Okay, so now this is the leftover fabric I have. So I'll go ahead and cut out the facing from it. So I'll just fold the fabric into two like this and place the front piece so that we can cut out the front facing. I'll repeat the same thing for the back, and then I'll show us the next thing to do. Okay, for the back facing, I'm making sure that the width of the shoulder in front, that's for the front facing, is equal to what I have at the back. You don't want one of the facing wider than the other. It just has a way of making your work not so neat. So by cutting them equally, it will make it very neat so they will align properly on the shoulders. So now we are done with the cutting part of this video. It's now time to stitch our pieces together. So starting with the front piece, I'm going to place the front facing right side of the facing right side of the fabric, and then I'll stitch on half inch round the neckline. And then this is our back piece. From the neck depth of the back, I came down by 20 inches. That's going to be the length of the zipper I'll have at the back. And then I marked 1 inch all the way down. So I'll be stitching on this 1 inch all the way down to the hem, which is the zip allowance we added, remember? And then I'll go ahead and stitch the zipper to the back before using the facing to turn the neckline. And then these are the pieces I cut out I'll be using to create the pleat. So I'll join all 3 of them together and then hem the down part. And then here also I have that long strip I cut. I'm going to just be cutting out a few pieces from this long strip. This is going to be for the side loops, the loops we're going to have at the side to create the lacing. And the length of these loops is going to be 3 inches each. And I need 6 pieces of the loops. Three will be for the left, three will be for the right. So I'll cut out 6 pieces of this. Okay, so I'm done cutting out the strips that we'll be using for the loops at the side. So this is 1 inch on a fold. So I'm going to stitch on the open part. I'll stitch on 1/2 inch and then turn it inside out. Now this is our front piece. You can see I've also stitched the V neckline with the yoke, and I've also woven the yoke. You want to make sure that the work is very neat. So here's our back piece also. I have stitched close the down part, and I've also fixed the zipper as well to the center back. And then I've stitched the facing now to the neckline. That's after sewing the zipper. You can see I've stitched the facing. So now I'm going to turn the facing here at the center back. Can you see how it is? So I'll place them right side facing right side, and I'll stitch very close to the zipper so that it neatly turns this area very well. This will give it that nice and already made kind of look. Okay, so this is what I have here. Can you see? I pinned it just to show us what it will look like. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch both sides of the back like that, and then I'll join the shoulders of both the front and back together, and then I'll also stitch the sleeves to the armhole, and then I'll show us the next thing to do. So as you can see, I've done all that. I've joined the shoulders and I've also stitched the sleeves to the armhole. I also wove the rough parts. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to attach the loops to the sides. For the loops also, I've also stitched it and I've turned it inside out. I made sure that the part where the stitch is, I ironed it to the middle. You don't want to leave it to the side. Just make sure that it's at the middle so that it neatly covers up. So now to place the loop, take note that this is the right side of the fabric. I'm going to measure from the shoulder to the waistline, that's to the underbust, not to the actual waistline, from shoulder to the underbust, and then I'll measure from that underbust point to the waistline. And you see that's about 3 inches. The underbust is 14 inches. The waistline is 17 inches. So the space between the loops, everything I'm going to have here is going to be that 3 inches. I'm going to place these 3 loops within that 3 inches I have here. You may decide to give a space of 1 inch in between them, but this is what I want to do. So I'm going to mark these 3 inches. That's the point where I will have the loops. So from the side, I came in by 1 inch, which is the sewing allowance. Remember, I said I'll be stitching exactly on 1 inch. So at that 1 inch part, at that 1 inch that I marked, I'm pinning the loops now. You can see, just watch carefully. I folded the loop into two, and then I'm pinning it at the 1 inch mark I have there. So this is me making sure to pin it just exactly on the seam allowance that I'll be stitching. You don't want to place it by the very side of the outfit because this may make the loop too short. So I'm placing it exactly on the seam line that's on my seam allowance, that 1 inch I'll be stitching on, so that when I stitch close the sides, everything will just be neatly covered up. As you can see, I've also pinned the loops to the other side. I folded the loop into two and I placed it on the 1 inch side seam allowance. So I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch the loops down, and then I'll go ahead and shape this outfit on 1 inch. I'll be stitching on 1 inch, which is my actual sewing allowance. The remaining 1 inch is going to be for ease, okay, so that this outfit is not too tight. And that is exactly what I have done here. And you see how the loops just comes out at the side here. This is just it. It's really neat. So, and I've also shaped the side. So I also went ahead to pleat the fabric. That's the fabric I cut out for the pleats. I've pleated it at the hem. This is just knife pleats, okay? So I pleated, making sure that my pleats are even. So here I pleated 2.5, 2.5 round the hem. So you will notice that the center back, I left the center back, I left a space of 1.5 inches open. I didn't stitch it all the way down to the hem. This is so that by the time we are done joining our pleats, then we can now close up the center back. So the opening You can see the two edges of the pleats are meeting here at the center back. So by the time I'm done stitching the pleats, I'm going to weave the rough parts and then join the center back, the down part. Okay, okay, our gown is ready, and this is what it looks like on the mannequin. Can you see how beautiful it's just sitting nice and well relaxed on the mannequin? And you can see the bell sleeves. So here I use 3 yards of fabric. So if you want the bell sleeve to really be wide, you need to use about 3.5 yards, depending on your size, of 4 yards, okay? Because 4 yards as per the size of the outfit is going to be bigger than this one. That's if you are really a plus size, okay? But if you are an average person, 3.5 yards will give you a big sleeve. So now this is our rope. I'm lacing the side loops here. And you see I inserted the rope first this way, and I'm making sure to centralize it. So I inserted it from one side to the other. That's on the first loop. Now on the first loop, can you see? And then I'm making sure to centralize it so that they are equal. Then I'm going to pick the one on the left and insert it on the right. So for the first ones, I just inserted them straight. Then the second one now, I'm picking the one on the left and inserting it into the second one on the right. Can you see? So, and then I'll pick the one on the right and insert it into the second one on the left as well. So now I've laced 2 of the loops, and then to lace the third one, I'm also going to pick the one on the right and take it to the loop on the left. That's the last loop now on the left on this side. And then I'll also pick the rope from this side and take it to the loop on the other side, okay? So this is what we have. So you can tie this as tight as you want it to be, or as free as you want it to be. This is what it looks like on my mannequin. This outfit really fits the mannequin. It is sitting very, very well. So you can imagine what it will look like on the human model, on the human mannequin, okay? This is the plastic mannequin. So on the human queen, it will really be beautiful. So everything came out so beautiful. I actually enjoyed making this beautiful outfit. I hope you enjoyed watching this video too and you learned something. If you have not subscribed up until this point, is there any reason why you haven't subscribed? If there's any reason why, just let me know in the comment section. Let's crack this problem. But before you let me know, just make sure to click on the subscribe button to subscribe. Ensure to put on your notification bell. This is very important. If you put on your notification bell, you will always receive a notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you, and see you in my next one. Don't forget to share this video and don't forget to like. Thank you. Bye, and see you in my next one.